here we are. It's been 2 years and today's the day. Today is goodbye.
This video is not clickbait. I will be leaving YouTube.
You have taken me on the wildest, craziest 13-year ride of my life. I'm so grateful.
I'm not sure that I want to continue doing stuff on this channel, and I don't want to put anything out in the world.
But right now, I need to spend time with people I hold dear. I need there to be things in my life that are not work, and it's been years since that's been true.
So I just wanted to say goodbye to YouTube.
Sad as it is to say goodbye to YouTube, it's the right thing to do.
Oh wow, another YouTube OG channel saying goodbye to YouTube. This is almost starting to feel like a trend.
3 days later.
So I'm going to be driving Uber, Lyft, and also delivering food on Uber Eats.
Yikes.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a singer. I looked up to artists like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Amy Winehouse, Celine Dion, and so many others. And what I really wanted to do was just to tour the world doing my favorite passion, which is to sing. But with life coming at you fast and those bills showing no signs of slowing down, a decision had to be made. Could I realistically generate an income as a singer if I never truly made it? And was I really prepared to risk it all to try? Well, for me, that was a resounding no. After traveling the UK as a singer and a children's entertainer, I decided to get myself a real job because £800 a month simply wasn't cutting it. However, in the digital age, risking it all to become a YouTuber or an influencer isn't something that you have to choose. You can quite easily build your career online while sustaining an income elsewhere. And for most internet celebrities, that is exactly how they entered the game. The job role of internet influencer is more attainable than it has ever been, and with apps like TikTok making child influencers famous seemingly overnight, it seems that being a content creator is a viable industry. If you were to ask most young people in today's day and age what it is that they would like to be, most of them would say a YouTuber. Nearly 30% of kids aged 8 to 7 listed YouTuber as their top career choice in a global survey conducted in 2019. More than 3 times those who picked astronaut. YouTube has become a powerful platform that not only entertains but also shapes cultural landscapes and influences millions worldwide. However, the volatile nature of online fame raises an interesting question about what happens when influencers are no longer successful. To understand this phenomenon, we have to delve into the journeys of prominent figures like Gabby Hanna, Jason Nash, and commentary channels like Noodles. On Valentine's Day 2005, YouTube was born, and in December 2007, YouTube launched the Partner Program, making monetizing content online and making an income a bustling new industry. Thousands flocked to the platform that encouraged its users to broadcast themselves, and before you knew it, some YouTubers were making more than athletes. Through monetization, sponsorship, merchandise, and exclusive content, and more, making it almost 16 years at present that the job title of YouTuber even existed. Some creators, like Shane Dawson, have learned to pivot, to move with the times and to keep their content current. Shane Dawson's switch from sketch comedy to conspiracy theories and documentaries means that the kids who were watching him in 2008 when his channel first started are now adults with families and kids and very different interests. He hit onto our generation's niche and kept his gravy train running. Some YouTube OGs like Brittany Louise Taylor struggled to stay relevant and eventually left YouTube, not by choice, but by lack of relevancy. This led me down into my very own mid-job crisis. What is my next step when this free ride in life fails? What are my options? I've already pivoted my content once. Can I do it again? Should I be saving up much more money just in case? And do I really want to continue to fight for relevancy in what is already a young person's game? Because as a commentator, I have seen, and I know all too well, how your career can disintegrate within seconds. So what exactly is life like after YouTube?
I'm headed for the sun. Suitcase and my Cadillac. I ain't never coming back. Farewell to my old life. I follow my heart. If life's an adventure, then here's where I start. I'm cutting from ear to ear, 'cause I'm getting out of here. Farewell to my old life. Kiss goodbye. Kiss goodbye. Kiss goodbye.
Okay, so first up, we have Gabby Hanna. Now, Gabby Hanna hasn't quote-unquote formally left YouTube, but you'll kind of see where it is that I'm going with this. But in order to understand the reasons as to why Gabby Hanna actually left YouTube and pretty much all social media platforms, you really have to understand quite a lot of the controversies that took place with Gabby Hanna that led her to this place. Now, if you want a comprehensive history into everything that Gabby Hanna has been involved in, I have documented it extensively, and I will leave it somewhere over here in the information tab so that you guys can see my entire Gabby Hanna playlist. Yikes. But for those of you who really can't be bothered to sit down and watch like, I don't know, hours and hours worth of content, I've made a lot of Gabby Hanna videos, okay? Here is a quick TLDR. Gabby Hanna is a social media influencer with 5.11 million subscribers on YouTube. She joined YouTube on the 12th of February 2014, but her career originally started on Vine. But when Vine went under due to lack of funding, she transitioned over to YouTube and gained widespread popularity through her story times. One of Gabby's most notable ventures was her venture into the music industry. She released several singles and EPs showcasing her vocal talents and lyrical prowesses. Tracks like Out Loud and Satellite garnered millions of views and earned her a dedicated fan base within the music industry. However, Gabby Hanna's career was not without its controversies. Like many social media influencers, she faced criticism as well as backlash for numerous amounts of incidents and statements. So let's start with the rice gum incident. In 2017, Gabby Hanna and Rice Gum attended a party in which Gabby Hanna alleges that Rice Gum smashed her phone and hit her. As more information came out, as well as witness statements, as well as footage from the actual party itself, it turns out that Gabby Hanna may have over-embellished what might have taken place between herself and Rice Gum. However, that does not in any way make what Rice Gum did to Gabby Hanna by being physical or intimidating in any way acceptable. Next up, we have the Jessie Smiles incident, where Jessie Smiles alleges that Gabby Hanna got extremely friendly and cozy with one of her abusers. This upset her because Gabby Hanna is somebody that she considered to be a close friend. This back and forth went on for several years on social media. Next up, we have the Bianca Devins situation. Gabby Hanna was wrongfully accused of mocking murder victim Bianca Devins. This story got so out of control that Gabby Hanna actually reached out to the Devins family in order to apologize for all of the social media hoo-ha that took place. This was a situation that Gabby Hanna actually wasn't in the wrong. Everybody else's perceptions of Gabby Hanna was what was wrong. But that does not in any way mean that it was not a notable controversy. I mean, this controversy went on for at least 6 months. Next up, we have the Kenta Cosmetics scandal, where Gabby Hanna was accused of scamming her fans by promoting a business by the name of Kenta Cosmetics. I would argue that Gabby Hanna faced an unfair and disproportionate amount of criticism for the Kenta Cosmetics scandal in comparison to other problematic YouTubers who basically ignored it. I'm talking about Tana Moja. When addressing the controversy to do with Kenta Cosmetics, Gabby Hanna doubled down and spoke to her audience and basically told them to manage their expectations.
But I would also add
Manage your expectations a little bit.
Next up, we have the Escape the Night drama, where numerous different individuals who worked with Gabby Hanna, from production to co-stars, had all basically said that not only was Gabby Hanna horrendous to work with, but she's likely not a very nice person.
I'd be afraid to double cross Gabby.
Gabby, I think.
Probably Gabby.
Oh my God, Gabby, she would literally murder me with her own hands right then and there.
I would not want to double cross myself.
Shortly after all of these incidences and many different people coming forward to share their Gabby Hanna stories, Gabby Hanna decided to do a docu-series of which she was going to be going over every controversy that she had ever been involved in and address them head on. This was an attempt, in my humble opinion, to gain back public popularity and respect. However, despite getting to part 7 or part 8 of this docu-series, Gabby Hanna never did finish the entire series. So after dropping that idea, Gabby Hanna just decided to go back to creating the kind of content it is that everybody was used to at that point, which is her vlog style content, as well as continuing to do her artistry, which was, you know, poetry, artwork as in actual physical drawings and artwork, as well as her passion for music. She continued to release and create music. Then Gabby Hanna did quite an interesting pivot over to TikTok. And while she was on TikTok, that is where things got even more crazy. People started to notice that Gabby Hanna's behavior was a little bit more strange and erratic than we were used to from seeing from Gabby Hanna. And a lot of people believed Gabby Hanna at this point in her life to be a little bit mentally unstable. She even invited a random stranger into her home and began filming with them and posting it to her TikTok. But it turns out that this random stranger wasn't really a random stranger at all. It was somebody who was watching her social medias and decided to show up to her home to hopefully help her take her medication. Just a very dangerous and stalkerish situation to take place, and everybody was concerned for Gabby Hanna's safety.
By the way, Nick, yes. I know you know who I am. Come on. Why did you lie to me this whole time? Why did you lie to me? That's for my acne, you dumb cunt. Get the fuck out of my house. Now. Now. Now!
However, shortly after that, I'd say like a day or two later, it seemed as if Gabby Hanna ended up having a mental break. That's what everybody presumes. Because Gabby Hanna, on that last day that she would actually end up being on TikTok, posted over 100 TikTok videos within a single day. Then she suddenly disappeared. And we never really heard much from Gabby Hanna at all, besides finding out at one point, I think, that she was a gym instructor or a fitness instructor for like a local YMCA. But for all intents and purposes, Gabby Hanna had just completely stopped posting on all social media platforms for approximately a year. Now, what's interesting about this is that Gabby Hanna was able to have the liberty to be able to take such a long break from social media, because when she was at the peak of her career, when she was making the most amount of money that she's probably ever made in her career, Gabby Hanna made a very smart financial decision to buy her home in California outright. So she didn't really face the same strain as many other influencers of having to keep up financially because she had made such solid financial decisions. Then, after a year, she returned to YouTube with a song.
All aboard!
No, not that song. This song.
Where did I go?
The following week, Gabby Hanna then returned to her channel to actually do a video speaking about where it is that she had been for the entire year, disclosing to us, the audience, that she had taken a full social media break, as in deleting all of her apps on social media and basically abstaining from engaging online for a year in order to clear her brain, which I personally think was such a great thing. Why? Because so many times, especially within the commentary space, a lot of us commentators, especially if somebody is going through, you know, mental issues due to some of their behaviors or antics that have taken place, or anything that has been, you know, widely publicized that they may be embarrassed of, we always say, hey, it's probably a good time right now to take some time off social media. And 9 times out of 10, these influencers are so in need of being able to keep up their lifestyle financially that they just simply never take that break. Whereas Gabby did exactly what we always ask of influencers when they're finding it extremely too much. She just left. However, in that time, Gabby Hanna stated that she focused on her artwork, her passions, her hobbies, as well as her relationship and connection to God. So now Gabby Hanna is back and she is doing vlog style content, showcasing her art, her poetry, her music, and basically giving us random little life updates. So she seems to be doing a lot better now than she has ever done before. At present, she doesn't really have a huge audience, averaging out approximately 40 to 50,000 views a video, but this is still a dedicated fan base that watch every single thing it is that Gabby puts out. Gabby Hanna is a good example of what it is that we tell so many influencers, which is just to step away from the internet. And she did exactly that, proving that some distance from the internet and from the web can help you gain a better perspective of the world in general and your contributions to it. So as of now, Gabby Hanna is moving in a much more positive direction. Is it as lucrative? No, but it is filled with real artistic passion and people who still care. Plus, she made solid financial decisions at her peak for her future, so she's secure. She isn't an influencer who is behind on mortgage payments and needs to sell. She is a woman who bought her home outright, and now in her current move, I think she's moving back home, she will have gained some substantial equity in her property and probably even made some money.
It always was in the first place. It was an investment. Like, that's how I justified making the purchase, is it was a place that I was able to operate my business. Either I was gonna live in it forever, or I was gonna rent it, or I was gonna Airbnb it. It was always an investment. But along the way, it became a home. It was literally a dream come true. Like, my entire life, I was just so afraid of being homeless. So when I became an adult, it was like this laser focused thing. Like, I have to get a home.
Gabby Hanna is one of the few content creators who have demonstrated that making solid financial decisions in the peak of your career is imperative if you want to continue to live that carefree lifestyle. That gives you the liberty to be able to walk away and come back and return at your leisure. Completely opposite to the next influencer it is that we are going to discuss, whose poor financial decisions and inability to separate himself from a YouTube squad didn't just make him morally bankrupt, but also financially. Let's take a look at the sad case of Jason Nash. Now, there have been numerous videos about Jason Nash and his recent descent, and there is a notable one by a content creator called Jimmy Robbins titled How David Dobrik Made and Broke Jason Nash. I will definitely link that in the description box down below for you guys to watch, because it is a very good documentary, deep dive into Jason Nash's life. However, for me, Jason Nash is one of the saddest YouTube stories of all time, and truly reinforces what we as content creators are absolutely terrified of. His position right now, quite frankly, terrifies me. It is a harrowing look into the future of what being stuck as an influencer looks like. See, when you're on top of your YouTube game and at your peak, opportunities and doors, they all just seem to open up. Sponsorships, brand deals, collaborations, tours. And Jason Nash was no stranger to all of those things in his time within the Vlog Squad. I mean, Jason Nash was touring right up until June 2021, doing comedy due to his association with the infamous David Dobrik, as well as David Dobrik's vlogs. However, since David Dobrik's recent controversy to do with one of his Vlog Squad members, Dirty Dom, and the allegations that he may have R-worded somebody whilst on the clock doing Vlog Squad activities, and as well as David Dobrik's flagrant disregard for his Vlog Squad's personal safety, like in the situation that took place with Jeff Whitaker, where he unfortunately, lost vision in one of his eyes, David Dobrik eventually decided to take a permanent hiatus from creating content on YouTube. This move for David was likely done as a decision to help him with his own mental health. However, this financially crippled Jason Nash, because essentially Jason Nash was nothing without David. So to give you a brief history of Jason Nash's past, let's do another little TLDR. Jason Nash was a relatively unknown comedian doing the comedy circuits in America. Jason became extremely popular on Vine and was prominently featured on Brandon Calvillo's Vines. Jason Nash's role was essentially as the comic relief. He was usually the punchline of many of Brandon's jokes. This cross-pollination between himself and Brandon Calvolo helped Jason Nash grow and become a successful Viner. However, when Vine dwindled down, unlike many other influencers, Jason returned back to stand-up and did some side acting roles. He actually met David Dobrik at a comedy club, and that's who encouraged him to start YouTube.
Doing stand-up one night at the Improv, and David was in the audience, and then he talked to me after. He's like, "Oh, you should come to YouTube." And I was like, "I can't do YouTube. I'm like 43." And he was like, "Oh, why not? Like, just go do it." I really owe him my life. He was like, "Oh, well, how much money do you need to make a month?" And I was like, I need like $5,000 a month. He's like, "Oh, you can make $5,000 a month." And so then like I made like a very bad first YouTube video with him. And then maybe like 4 months later, I was making like $35,000 a month.
Really?
I called my ex-wife. She's like, "I need money for something." And I was like, "Oh, I got it. No problem." She's like, "How?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm making like $35,000 a month." There was just like a long silence on the end of the phone. She was like, "What?" It felt so good.
Jason created a YouTube channel and joined the Vlog Squad before essentially becoming an instrumental member of the Vlog Squad. Very few Vlog Squad videos from that point on wouldn't feature Jason Nash. Jason's YouTube channel became like an after show for the Vlog Squad's vlogs. People who enjoyed David's vlogs would flock over to Jason's channel to see any behind the scenes footage. Jason spent a portion of time dating Trisha Paytas, who also became a heavy feature in his behind-the-scenes vlogs. So many of Trisha's fans would then flock to Jason's channel to watch more of their couple's content. Once again, cross-pollinating. So this set a precedent of Jason Nash always being the sidekick, the bridesmaid but never the bride. And that wasn't because he didn't have the ability to make his own engaging content. It's that he didn't have the motivation and felt comfortable coasting on his associates' coattails. In recent months, Jason has become extremely vocal about how he has become financially ruined.
I miss the podcast. I miss the money of the podcast.
I see Jason say this on a TikTok clip like every other week.
What do I do?
Turn down $10 million deal. I think you say that with like TikTok clips.
Oh, yeah.
With you,
that's like a joke from my act that I say, which is, you know, he turned down all this money, and all he had to do was talk to me once a week for 40 minutes. You know, like, and I'll tell you why it stings is because that's literally every comment on TikTok Live.
It seems as if Jason Nash has been frivolous with his money and hasn't made any kind of backup plans either financially or career-wise. So this has left Jason Nash to transition to what many are now calling e-begging, becoming the punchline of almost all of his old friends' jokes.
Can someone make Jason Nash a fucking DoorDash account? If I open my TikTok one more time to seeing him begging for roses on my Live For You page, I'm calling CPS.
Let's go. 2,000 in the live. Incredible. Thank you, guys.
Now, let me make this clear. I don't think that it is noble in any way to sit on your ass and just accept your fate. This is a man with children, and I respect the hell out of him for providing for his family despite his pride. Shit, at one point, my mum worked cleaning toilets at one point to put food on the table. I will never discourage or discredit anybody's choice to work. But I do think it's clear, extremely clear, that Jason Nash doesn't really enjoy doing these TikTok live streams. For all intents and purposes, Jason Nash is a comedian. He's best when he's being creative. So whilst I respect him for standing on business regardless, it's not hard to look into his eyes and to see that his soul has gone. And that makes me sad. However, had he had taken the opportunities that his proximity to David Dobrik and Vlog Squad had provided him, worked on it, worked developing his craft, getting better, becoming stronger as a content creator, carving his own space, he wouldn't have been as reliant on the success of David Dobrik's ventures in order to advance his own career. So I guess he only really had himself to blame. But this ended up raising a big question for me. If YouTube wasn't sustaining me, would I be willing to leverage my influence and request direct donations from my audience in order to generate an income? And honestly, for me, I think that I would realistically just go back to a quote-unquote real job, because whilst working for an ain't shit boss can definitely at times be demoralizing, asking for strangers to pay for me to get up in rankings through direct donations without providing anything entertaining besides my presence as a full-time job seems utterly soul-destroying. And let's keep it a buck and let's keep it a bean. Jason Nash is 50 years old. Do I want to be this? At 50. This solidified, no shade, that I really need to start putting some more money into my retirement and pension scheme. But then this raised a much bigger question. What if I lose it all due to a series of just bad and terrible decisions? Nothing that makes me a terrible person on the inside, just stuff that sticks within the public consciousness so much so that they will never forget. Well, next up, we're going to talk about Deaf Noodles. Okay, so Deaf Noodles is definitely another character on social media that I have covered extensively. So if you guys are interested in listening to anything to do with Deaf Noodles in more depth than I'm about to give you right now, definitely check out the information tab over here, and I will link you guys to my Deaf Noodles playlist, and you can have a look. A good time, fun times. However, if you just want a quick TLDR as to how things went so drastically wrong, let's go. This is a brief list, not in order, by the way, because I'm not going to do this in time order. There's just so much to add into this section. So let's get into it. Deaf Noodles is a YouTube commentator who became popular for his show, Irrelevant News, where he would talk about all of the frivolous drama on the internet that really didn't have any social, economic, or political impact on anybody's life. Just brain dead drama, but in a good way. He was extremely good at it. His first social faux pas was getting information wrong and struggling to correct that information efficiently. I personally believe that this was down to the rapid pace of which Deaf Noodles was building all of his social media channels. He has the Deaf Noodles channel that sits at 500k, Deaf Noodles Show, which sits at 13k, Go with Dennis, which sits at 16k, Deaf Noodles TikTok, which sits at 141k, Facebook that sits at 113k, Instagram that sits at 65k, and his Comedy Club IG, which has 2k, as well as a Twitter that had approximately around 150k followers before it was disabled. And this was all before just adding his brand new channel, Deaf Noodles New, with 12.4k. He reported on fake James Charles allegations that directly hurt the James Charles investigation immeasurably. He also made a tweet stating that commentator Papa Gut looks like a PDF file and alerted the FBI in a jovial tweet that was made in poor taste. And he later made merch of Papa Gut crying to the reaction of this news. He was slammed by the commentary bro community, which resulted in a lawsuit between Deaf Noodles and Keemstar. He defended Ethan Klein's inappropriate comments about the LGBTQIA+ community. He lied about his age, stating that he was 25 when he is in fact 37. He opened a comedy club and broadcast his roast battles publicly that allowed the general public to make their own assessments of his comedy prowesses that he had toted for years. Turns out that he's not average. He's not even below average. He's just awful.
You're like my cousin if you were a girl.
Thank you. I bet you cried when you got those tattoos.
I did. Are you from Detroit?
Take a guess.
No.
He attempted to sue his assistant for doing a story time about a bad boss that she had without naming him on TikTok. People pointed out that she did not violate the terms of her NDA and also that she was young, 21 at the time. And many felt like it was an abuse of his wealth and power and also showed how fragile his ego was. His second roast battle was ambushed by commentator Salvo Pancakes, who was a total asshole, but the way that Dennis violently conducted himself allowed Salvo to appear the victim, despite how antagonistic he was. It was hella entertaining though. He platformed Gabby Hanna's stalker who entered her home. He is accused of using his comedian friends to boost the profile of his club locally. And they also alleged that not only did they get unfair pay, but also that one of their podcast shows was suspended without notice. He started leaning towards doing political commentary that was more conservative in tone, and many fans became switched off due to his more liberal takes in the past, especially in his support of Steven Crowder. And basically that's pretty much where we left off last time we spoke about Deaf Noodles on this channel. Well, since then, Deaf Noodles channels, plural, have taken a huge nosedive. Like, real recognize real, I have never in the history of niggerdom seen somebody's channel take quite the nosedive that Deaf Noodles has. I've seen channels completely lose so much respect, so much subscribers, so many people don't F with them anymore, but I have never seen it in the way that I've literally sat down and watched this happen for Deaf Noodles. And I think I realized why. It's because his content has become lazy and sloppy, with little to no editing besides OBS transitions. His podcast no longer had any guests and literally ended up just being him live streaming, speaking in a slow, nonchalant, definitely not engaging and entertaining manner, looking through various different articles and videos on social media. This saw Deaf Noodles go from literally getting 150 to 300,000 views per video to literally now getting less than 1,000 views. And some of his videos, they're not even getting any clicks at all. Like, not even a single click. Like, the video has been up for 10, 15, 20 hours and nobody clicked. I mean, even his live streams, at times when I've like hopped on, I've had less than 15 concurrent viewers. And this is a channel with much more subscribers than me. This is a channel with 500,000 subscribers. And nobody cares. However, despite his notable decline that everybody had pretty much noticed, Deaf Noodles insisted to everybody, including myself, that, you know, his life was going great, the comedy club was doing so well, the podcast studios were generating new money with new clients all of the time. So as a viewer, it felt as if Deaf Noodles was financially set and was really only doing YouTube for his own personal enjoyment. Hence the lack of effort. He didn't have to work at it because he was working on something that was actually working, the comedy club and his podcast business. And with him no longer creating content that people had originally signed up for, he ended up losing subscribers rapidly. Noticing this sudden change to his channel, Deaf Noodles decided to open up a second channel titled Deaf Noodles New, where he would primarily focus on longer form 20 minutes-ish commentary videos, leaving his main channel for more vlog-styled videos or videos that were filmed off the cuff, more personal, I guess. The lack of engagement on his main channel with his subscribers dwindling eventually meant that Deaf Noodles just gave up at one point on creating actual content.
I had an idea the other day I wanted to share with all of you. I'm calling it the unsubscribe challenge. Okay, I want to challenge everybody who's watching this video and is subscribed to this channel to unsubscribe. Okay, I want to see if we can break the record for being the most unsubscribed channel in the history of this platform. Have you ever thought of this? Like, I don't know a single person who's ever done this. If I'm wrong, just tell me in the comments down below. I've seen the most unliked video or disliked video challenge. I've seen the most liked video challenge. I've seen the most sub to me challenge. Let's do the polar opposite. Unsubscribe to this channel right now. Let's make this the most unpopular channel on YouTube, okay? Let's see if we can bring the sub count down to 0. Is that possible? Will enough of you do it? Can we break a record to become the first ever YouTube channel to lose 500,000 subs willingly? Can we do that, please? The unsubscribe challenge. Yeah. Go ahead. Go do it. Unsubscribe. See how far down we can go.
And more recently, within the past 3 or 4 months, I would say approximately, Deaf Noodles has been creating these less than 10-minute bizarre videos where he would just talk about the most insane random thing. Literally saying absolutely nothing of value, just word vomit.
What are you doing?
Can I help you?
Baby, what are you doing?
I'm talking. What? Okay, I'm talking. Let me talk. What? It's not that crazy. Okay?
It's 3 in the morning and all I hear through the door is penis farts. And then I walk in here and you're a cheeseburger. It's definitely crazier than I thought that it was.
It's okay. I'm just a cheeseburger. There's nothing wrong with that, okay?
You're gonna come to bed soon?
Yes. Okay.
Why?
Just let me finish talking about the penis farts. Okay. Okay. Anyway. A penis fart is a fart that comes out of your penis.
This prompted a few content creators and commenters to question whether Def Noodles was really going through a genuine mental breakdown, or if he was just doing this in order to get attention to help boost his video views. Was he just desperate for attention by any means necessary? Watching all of this play out, it really became quite obvious to me that Def Noodles just simply can't let go of the attention that social media brings him. As I watched casually from afar, I started noticing that Def Noodles would spend 4 hours plus doing a live stream on his second channel. And then in between all of that, he would be filming content for all of the other different channels it is that he has, as well as posting to social media, creating clips of TikToks and shorts, keeping up with the news, researching, probably even making notes. Then we have the actual filming itself and then the editing. Doing all of the work it was that he needed to do to maintain all of these channels was a full-time job within itself. I mean, we could go even further. He has to, you know, not just edit the video, he has to create the thumbnail, put the information in, the metadata. There is just so much things that go in to creating content in general. And he was doing this over and over again. I only have one channel to look after. I've tried to look after others. I struggle. The one channel that I have is a lot of work. And even if I was to put the bare minimum in terms of effort onto multiple channels, that would still be hard work. And that is before you even take into account the back and forth it is that you have to do with YouTube to even get your videos monetized. That's a job. And if his businesses, plural again, are successful, why isn't he putting more focus into what is actually working for him rather than everything that's not? Well, that's because it wasn't working for him. The thing is that we had already suspected pretty much from the beginning is that it was just all a facade. Def Noodles was crumbling before our very eyes. But after years of promoting himself as a satirical commentator who should never be taken seriously, how on earth could anybody truly trust that his mental break was real? Well, that's when Def Noodles decided to take to Reddit. Okay, so in this section of the video, you know what it is when I get my headphones on, girl. We're gonna be looking and going through some stuff. So let's go. Okay, so 16 days ago, Def Noodles decided to post this to his Reddit that he recently took over. Just a quick brief TLDR on this. Def Noodles used to have a Reddit that was ran and controlled by other people. This is this Reddit, r/Def Noodles. And on there, people were extremely favorable, but as he kind of moved into his descent, everything began to get a little bit more snarky. And by some way, by some grace of God, I don't know how this happened, Def Noodles ended up gaining control of this Reddit and getting rid of some moderators and all of that jazz, girl. Prompting the people who really wanted to snark on Def Noodles to create a snark Reddit for Def Noodles. But the one that it is that we are going to look at is this one. So he's got control, head moderator of this Reddit, and this is what he posted 16 days ago. What's your favorite kind of content? Now this is on his own Reddit, and it has absolutely 0 upvotes. And I think that just even the lack of engagement on his own Reddit honestly genuinely began to get to Deaf Noodles. 14 days ago, he continued and said, "What do you think about commentary videos? Should I do them?" And the response from people were, "I think you fumbled that back." Deaf Noodles responded by saying, "I think you're correct." Another person said, "The world we could have had if you just stuck with irrelevant news. You're too late, bud." Deaf Noodles said, "Okay, guess it's all over then." Somebody else responded to him by saying, "If you're always leaning on Reddit for content ideas, it screams lack of creativity and originality. Your content reflects your character. And if you're not stepping it up, people notice. Your reputation has taken a hit after how you acted a few years back, the bullying and the cockiness, and now no one wants to stick around for uninspired stuff. Maybe it's time to rethink your approach and consider a more traditional job, like a 9-to-5. Deaf Noodles responded by saying, "What job do you think I should get? I was thinking maybe a bricklayer, maybe a pipe layer. If those didn't work, then maybe the military. What do you think?" The following day he posted, "Should I quit and get a real job?" And pretty much everybody here just basically said, yes, go and get yourself a real job. Then he said, "What job should I get? I just applied to work in construction. If that doesn't work out, I'm joining the military. Do you support that? Would that be good for me?" Why are you asking like literal strangers on what kind of job it is that they think that you would be good at? You are the only person who knows your curriculum vitae. Like, it still seems like he's so desperate for public approval, and this is like the hurdle that he's struggling to get over. This attention economy it is that he has created within his own channel and within his value of himself as a human being. And because of that, he is still asking other people for permission to do anything, which is actually quite sad when you think about it. Deaf Noodles is like 37, 38 years old, and he's asking permission to move on? What? Anyway, the response to this was, "Bro, go to therapy." Then somebody else says, "Why didn't you just try and get a job working for somebody else's comedy club or get into production?" Which I think is a solid idea. Somebody else just said, "Join the circus, not the military." The day after that, he posted, "Should I go to therapy? What kind of therapy should I do? Do you have therapist recommendations? Taking any help I can get." This is when things began to turn and people started beginning to feel as if Deaf Noodles was now trolling them. So one user says, "Dude, is trolling on Reddit your only content now? ? And somebody else said, "The Psychology Today website has a find a therapist feature." Then somebody else used the meme of, "Stop it. Get some help." At this point, some of the comments are just kind of like half concerned, half worried, and some people are just really confused as to whether he's trolling. Well, he would make it somewhat more clear that he may not be trolling. So this is what he had to say next. "Should I just end it all? I was told by several recruiters today that I am not employable because of all of the information they found about me on the internet. I applied to be an Uber Eats and Lyft driver, but they won't approve my application because I can't afford a car and my credit is so bad that they won't let me rent one either. I am irredeemable. I have done some awful things and let down a lot of people, and I don't think I'll ever be able to make the situation right again. I don't see any other way out. I've ruined my life. It's over. So why try?" This is where the comments in regards to Deaf Noodles started to change. A lot more people were like, "Listen, I may not be enjoying your content right now, dude, but I don't want you to die. If you really need some help, here are some resources." And people really going out of their way to be a lot more accommodating and helpful to Deaf Noodles, who they believe at this point to be really going through mental health issues. Literally, there is an individual here who asked the question, "Is this real?" But the majority of the comments here are basically people just saying, "Dude, just go to therapy, speak to somebody. This is like not the place." So a couple of days later, Deaf Noodles then decides to make another post. "I'm broke and I can't afford therapy. What should I do? Go to rehab?" He said, "I'm seriously considering 5150ing myself to get the help it is that I need." One commenter said, "You absolutely should. You are at the stage where if you genuinely feel lost and unhappy with life and you can't fix it alone, then do it. You will come out better for it. It won't be easy, but the payoff is worth it." Then he said, "How can I 5150 myself myself. I'm just so scared to do it. Another person said, just go to rehab, bro, and get your mental health shit together. You could totally have a comeback, but you have to work for it. That's if you want it anyway. But regardless, you've got to take care of your shit to get anywhere good. Take care of yourself, Daph. Now, what's interesting about that post is that he talks about not only just 5150 in himself, but also the prospect of possibly going to rehab. And I'm like, rehab from what? What are you trying to solve? If it is mental health, then it's going to be therapy and all of that kind of stuff. Just rehab seemed like a really weird one. Now, there was a post that has since been deleted where Noodles, for some bizarre reason, admits to having like some kind of cocaine issue. But again, nobody can tell if he's trolling because he did a drug test on his main channel for content for some bizarre reason to prove that he is on no drugs and no opiates and nothing like that. So I'm like, so then why did you say that you wanted to go to rehab? And why did you have a volley with somebody where you literally sat down and said that you had drug addiction issues? And this is where we come to this place again where we're not sure whether Noodles is trolling, if it's an attention thing, or whether he genuinely is going through something. And the fact that somebody has made such a huge misstep of making everything so satirical, because I'm a satirical commentator, nothing should be taken seriously. You took me seriously, well, that's your fault. You're the problem because you can't take a joke. Now everyone questions everything. And now, even with you saying that you want to go to rehab, we don't even know whether to trust that. You're saying you want to die. We don't even know whether to trust that. That is an insane place to have put your career in. Next up, he says, how can I make things right with everyone that I have wronged? I've let down so many people and I don't know how to make things right. I'm lost, I need help, and I don't know what to do. I am beyond irredeemable. I'd like to at least make things right with the people that I have wronged before I leave this earth. I am open to any suggestions. Then somebody responded by saying, I think the problem here is that no one here knows whether to take you seriously. I was genuinely a huge fan and hated watching everything that you went through the past few years, but so much of it was self-perpetuated. Trying to be better is a good step, but I don't know how we can help when you're inferring that you want to off yourself, which feels like you're seeking pity instead of actually trying to do things to make things right. Do you have a therapist? Another person stated, listen, dude, I think that I'm one of the many people who have watched you that isn't sure whether or not you are trolling right now. I tried to tell you over a year ago that you needed help, and I believe apologize for your actions, but you just insulted me. I think you're trolling, and if you aren't, I would recommend going to some kind of drug or alcohol support group and or rehab and look for a job somewhere. Then his next post, due to everybody turning around and saying, we're not sure if you're trolling with us right now. And if you're not trolling with us, then get help. But if you are trolling us, like, this sucks, dude. So the next post it is that he made was, this is not a troll. I'm so incredibly sad that I have ruined my reputation so much that even if I share my honest feelings and thoughts with people, they think I'm lying. I have no one to blame but myself. I did it to myself and I feel so lost right now because I know there's no way out of the failure that I have created for myself. I hate myself and everything that I have become. I can't stand the man I see in the mirror. One of the commenters responded by saying, okay, if you're not trolling, then you're definitely hacked. You literally wrote a post the other day saying that you had no car to find a real job, but on the other channels you're flexing about getting your Tesla detailed every week and paying for your girl's cosmetic procedures. This is dumb. At this point, if you really need actual help, go and seek it. There's so many resources, but you're just being a dick. I mean, by all means, carry on, my good sir, but the little boy who cried wolf is a shitty children's story for a reason. Next up, he posted, I want to give up. I have no reason to keep going. I've ruined my life and everyone hates me. I've let too many people down and I don't think there's much I can do to make things right. I'm just a fuck up, a failure, and I'm fated to a life of misery. I'm so sorry for dumping this on all of you. You're all too kind to listen to me and give me advice. I'm just too embarrassed to actually put any of this into a video. I can't face a camera and see myself saying the truth. It's hard just to admit it here. I can't do it on camera. And somebody said something that honestly is like the best comment that I think out of everybody, and it's, you need help that Reddit can't give you, and I truly mean this in the nicest way, which bravo. Like, I don't know why you're coming to Reddit that you're going to get any kind of resolve here, because you're just not going to get it. And I get that talking through your problems always feels good, doesn't matter who it is. And sometimes talking to a stranger can feel even better, but this is not the place. Social media is a horrible and dark place. There are going to be people who wish the worst for you. There are going to be people on this internet who want you dead, girl. I have had way too many death threats in this lifetime on social media to know that there are people out there who genuinely want you to cease breathing, and people who will help facilitate anything in an antagonistic way in order to help you get there. So trust me, this is not the place. It is way too toxic to take this kind of stuff to the internet. So get a therapist. And if you're doing things like spending money on getting your car detailed, spending money on your girlfriend's cosmetics procedures, I don't know. I mean, this is what the people are saying. I really have not looked into that enough to know that that's the truth. Do you get what I mean? And even more recently, in the latest video it is that you posted, you've traveled all the way to Florida for no real rhyme or reason. You just said you hadn't been out there in a while.
I'm in Florida, folks. I'm trying to figure out what people are doing here all the time. I haven't been here in a long time, so love Florida, but it's a little strange.
You could be spending all of that money and all of those resources on actually getting help, which honestly makes me feel like you're a man-child who is unable to actually confront their feelings on any real level and is desperate to make himself a lol cow. What's happening for me personally is it's like the Boogie effect. If you guys aren't aware of like who Boogie is, he was like a huge content creator, made a lot of freaking money back in the day. Big nerd, like Dungeons and Dragons nerd girl. And basically he ended up making so much money, but then he ended up falling off. And then he ended up turning to the internet and just basically became so entitled that he genuinely believed that the audience should pay for everything for them. And when creating engaging content that would actually get people to want to subscribe and hopefully boost his income financially, he actually turned to getting the audience to consistently pity him, to a point that they were like, I feel so bad for this dude. Here, let me just give him some money. And I feel like this is at the point that we're at. Like, you want attention and views so bad that you're willing to get them through pity, which is sad, because you could actually be making active changes to help better your life and especially your mental health. Because he's talking about getting a new job. Girl, I would even suggest don't even get a new job until you deal with the brain, because entering that job is going to be the worst thing it is that you can do until you sort out the goddamn brain. But he's getting himself jobs, he's still vlogging, he's still doing this, he's still doing that, rather than actually just sitting down and dealing with the crux of his problem, which is he has a huge mental health, huge ego situation that he needs to deal with first. This is a man who's coming to the internet because he can't even admit it to his girlfriend, to his partner, to the person who I believe that he loves and wants to share a family, a future, a baby with. Anyway, the following day, he says, should I sell my channel? Everybody hates me. I am irredeemable. I will never gain back the viewership I once had. I might as well just put my channel out of its misery. I'm thinking that if I can sell it for a bit of money, then I can pay off some of the debt. What do you guys think? Would any of you buy it? Or should I delete my channel and hope that it all goes away? Somebody responded to him and said, you are so wrapped up in the past. I will never gain back the viewership I once had. Maybe that's a good thing, to not have so many eyes on you. It seems that it gave you so much pressure. Now that people aren't watching, you have no self-esteem. Your sense of self is so dependent on your viewership and the opinion of strangers. Practice mindfulness, living in the moment, not stuck in the past or scared of the future. As far as a job, go to an employment agency. Do not mention your YouTube career. Just tell them your background is in digital media that can help you get a normal job that focuses on the real world. Work with people that you see in your real life. Make friends in your real life. Find hobbies that are real, like going for walks, reading, crafts, etc. Do not forget that the internet is not real life. Noodles responded to this by saying, I have gone to 2 different employment agencies. I did not mention my YouTube career. They Googled me and said that I was ineligible because of my digital footprint. They weren't specific, but I assume it's because of the numerous videos and articles about me that came up in their search. Honestly, I've already come to terms with the fact that there is no way out. I am liquidating all of my assets. I am selling my business and I am considering moving to Brazil and disappearing. But even then, if anyone searches for me, all of this stuff comes up. Maybe I should change my name. I don't know. I'm just so lost and hopeless. Def Noodles then posted the following day, I feel like a loser, but I want to thank everybody who sent me kind messages. As I'm coming to terms with the fact that my life will never be the same because of the awful, irredeemable things that I have done, I wanted to take a moment and thank everybody who sent me nice messages within the last 24 hours. A lot of people sent me some great advice and ideas on how I can turn my life around, and it's starting to give me a little bit of hope that maybe everything isn't lost after all. I don't know if it's going to be easy, and I have a lot to make up for. And I should live with that stain on my name for the rest of my life and beyond. That being said, the kind words that I've received truly do help a lot. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Then the following day, he says, why do people not believe me anymore? What can I do to help people trust me again? I know I've hurt a lot of people, and a lot of hurt people are thinking that I'm just trolling right now, but I'm not. They said I look happy in my videos, but I just hide all the pain really well. Yes, I've got a car to go around, but that's not actually my car. I'm running an insane deficit, and it's just a matter of time before everything I have gets repossessed. I don't know what else to do. I feel out of control and lost, and as though I'll never be a real person again because of my past mistakes. I need serious help, and I don't know how to ask for it. Closest family lives a 12-hour flight away, and I'm too scared to bring my girlfriend into this because I don't want her to think that I am weak. I am so sad every day, and I know that I have ruined my life, and I want to do better, and I want to do right by the people that I have wronged. Then the next one, I am so depressed. I am worthless. I am an awful human being, and I deserve the worst, and I cannot take it anymore. And for the most part in this comment section, everybody is just like on his side, basically saying, hey, it's never that deep. Just get off the internet and get therapy. I feel like for several days now at this point, for almost a week, people have been saying, Def Noodles, go and get some therapy. Stop coming to the internet and telling us your problems. Just go and get some therapy. He's refusing to do that. He just wants to continue talking online. And it's giving very much for me, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like at this point, this for me, if I was a fan of Def Noodles, this would be my point to clock off, because I'm like, I'm literally telling you what to do. You're asking for help. And I'm giving you relevant information and resources in order to help you with that. And you're not taking those resources and you're continuing doing the thing that is actually counterproductive to your personal growth. I can't help you. And if I can't help you and you're constantly asking me for help, then that means that you genuinely don't want help right now. I can't help you. Here's the next post. Should I start a GoFundMe? Girl, I'm losing money so fast and I'm indebted. My life is falling apart. How can I start making money fast to pay for all my bills? $32,000 in the red every month is not sustainable, but I can't stop now. I'm in too deep. Def, did you really just suggest to your audience that they pay for the financial mess that you got yourself into? Why is you being $32,000 in the red every month our problem? You did that. You did that. You were like, I'm a comedian. I'm going to open a comedy club. We were like, we don't really think that's a good idea. I'm going to open a comedy club, but it's going to be on Hollywood Boulevard. Oh, do you think you're going to be able to actually, be able to sustain the rent of a place that's like on a well-known street like that? Yes, I can do it all. I'm going to have a podcast studio and there's going to be lots of people. Okay. Do you think that, you're going to be able to get a lot of money from that podcast studio as well? I mean, that's a lot of money to be putting, what you're employing people. You've employed people. So you've got an assistant and several other workers who work for you. Okay. That's interesting because that's a lot of money that's going out. So you're able to do all of that and sustain it, as well as be financially lucrative on YouTube and continue to keep up the consistency and persistency on that channel as well. Oh, so when it all came crumbling down and you became indebted, when everybody was like, is this smart? All the way through, that's a you motherfucking problem, Def Noodles. That is a you problem. How dare you? How dare you come onto the internet telling people that you're $32,000 in debt per month. Per month. Per month. That's a you problem. That's it. How are you in that amount of debt every month? That honestly, that number feels like it was plucked out of the sky, because I genuinely cannot believe £32,000 a month in debt. In debt? That is terrible financial decisions. What kind of interest are you paying on these loans? That's what I want to know. If you're $32,000 in debt every month, what kind of interest are you paying on these loans? How much is your rent? You need a therapist and a financial advisor, because how is that happening? And then you're saying, should I do a GoFundMe? You expect us to keep paying $32,000 per month for you to sustain this very, very failing business that actually your audience don't believe in? We're not angel investors, dude. What is wrong with you? And this is where I was just like, oh, you know, like, if I didn't think he was trolling, I feel like he's trolling now, because there is no fucking way. There's no way that you can be so freaking tone deaf, dude. So freaking tone deaf. But I digress. Next message posted after that. How can I save my career? YouTube was my dream job and I fucked it up. It's all my fault. And at one point I thought it was unsalvageable, but some of the messages I've gotten in the past 48 hours have given me hope that someday in the future, this can all be reversed. I need your help. How can I do this? It feels impossible right now. I think what happened is that Def Noodles got into like a little bit of a downward spiral with his own personal mental health and depression. And then what he has taken as people's genuine concern for him just actually fucking being alive, as genuine interest in what it is that he has doing or upcoming in the future, which is these are two different things. Def Noodles, I could give a fuck about your channel. I'm just going to be honest, dude. I could give a fuck about your channel. I don't care. I'm not interested anymore. It's not engaging. I was really interested when you were doing the irrelevant news stuff and you were putting that high energy, fast paced, segmented commentary on all of the trivial stuff that's going on social media. I was interested then, but now the kind of stuff it is that you're doing, I'm not interested in it. That's a personal perspective. I don't want you to die. I feel like I'm losing the plot. I don't want you to die. I don't want you to die, but I'm not interested. And I feel like that's the problem that we're coming up against now, that he has taken people's genuine concern, not only for his mental health, but his physical well-being as, oh, they love me. So I'm just going to continue. Okay, well, if you want me, I'm gonna keep doing it. And it's like, no, don't keep doing it. Probably stop that. Just I don't want you to die. Then we come up to good news. I'll be able to do Uber after all. Fingers crossed this works. I was able to get a car that I can use for deliveries and drive passengers. I think with the flexibility of doing Uber on my own schedule and the comedy on the side will likely help. I don't know, what do you think? Again, why are you asking permission from us, the audience? From us, the audience, for what it is that you're choosing to do as a grown-ass man. And also, if you are $32,000 per month in the red, what in the fuck do you think Uber's gonna do, bro? Realistically. That's why I'm like, is this a troll? Is he even like, are these numbers being picked out of the sky? Is he just being a dick? Is he just so desperate for attention he's willing to lie to us in order to garner that kind of attention? And I'll tell you what I think. I'm gonna be real fucking honest right now. He sees Uber as content. Yep. He now thinks that if he documents his downfall, his fall from grace, and this redemption arc, I guess, that he wants to go through, the people will be engaged to watch this journey with him. He sees Uber as content, and if he creates content as a Uber driver, then he will then be able to make money. He sees this as the next big thing, that he will still be able to do YouTube as an Uber driver. Because after I watched his video where he announced that he would be doing Uber, everything started making sense. I was like, oh, you want to turn this into content.
I'm also thinking I want to, because I'm going to be Ubering around, I'm going to make that a part of the content as well. I'm thinking of live streaming some of the Uber drives that I go on for a few hours. I'm thinking of interviewing some of my Uber subjects or passengers. What do you call it? Subjects. Some of my Uber passengers, if there's anything interesting, I'll include it in the vlog. And also this other journey that I'm on, which is I'm going to rehabilitate my image.
Anyway, underneath this post on Reddit, there is people who are basically saying that he needs to address his coke addiction because he's putting people in danger, driving them places whilst he's on coke and all of that kind of stuff. This ended up prompting Deaf Noodles to do a drug test on video. I'm not going to show you that because basically he comes up clear for all drugs, but it does then bring up the question of why on earth he was saying, does he need, like, should he go to rehab? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Unless you can go to rehab for just, I don't know, being a dick. Like, I'm trying to work out why you would need rehab at this point. So then he posted a video saying, should I take a drug test? And there's the drug test video. Then he said, I passed the Uber inspection. I could start driving Uber now. Anyway, in the middle of all of this drama, he decided to post a video, basically just, I guess, sitting down and truly admitting that he was at the end of his tether. And again, he is on his knees, kind of like groveling in this video. It's really, really sad. Like, this is really pathetic, actually, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at what it is that Deaf Noodles had to say.
I give up. I really do. I give up. It's over. I have no shame in admitting any of this. In the past, I was embarrassed how much I lost, how I could just fumble the bag. It just really fucked it all up. I was really embarrassed and ashamed to admit it, but I did it. It's all my fault. And I've put myself here, and I don't know any other way to fix this. I just give up. And I was mid-workout. I just got to my knees and was doing a prayer. And I've just come to terms with the fact that there's no way out. I did this to myself.
Shortly after all of this, Deaf Noodles then went on to basically just create a bunch of videos, vlog style. One of it was like a black and white vlog where he showed his studio. Another one was him talking about the time that a UFC fighter heckled him. The next one is him talking about being burnt out. And the next one is him talking about his past in his car, but now in Florida for some reason. Apparently he hasn't been there in a while and he felt like he wanted to go. It must be nice to have the financial liberty and freedom of being able to spend a couple $100 and travel cross country so easily. That must be nice. It must be nice. I know I'm not in a financial situation myself, my dude. So it must be nice. It must be nice. And do you want us to pay into a GoFundMe? Never mind. Anyway, the whole thing really annoyed me. I'm just going to be honest. I found the whole thing extremely annoying. It's because I'm not entirely sure that this is real. There's times and there's moments where I'm feeling like we're getting some sincerity, but there are also times and moments where it just feels like he's being extremely condescending. Like in his apology video, this one that is at the top over here. In this video, he's apologizing for basically saying like, I'm sorry, not sorry, but I am boring. Because people are like, your content is no longer engaging to us. We aren't interested in what it is that you're putting out there. And instead of just being like, okay, if my content isn't engaging, like what can we do to make this engaging? If you really want to stay around for content, what kind of content is it that you guys want? Can we get, the ball rolling? Do you guys have any suggestions? Do you get what I mean? Let's help rebuild this community together. And instead of taking that stance, he then goes with the patronizing take of, well, in this attention economy, everything has been so glamorized and everything has been so cosmetic or whatever the word is, cosmetized. I don't know, girl. He used Wordle that day, girl. And, you know, we have this weird view of what reality should be, but reality isn't this. This is what reality is. And I'm like, people aren't saying it because, you know, life isn't entertaining, Deaf Noodles. And I feel like you need to know that. It's not because you're not entertaining because life isn't entertaining. No, you're not engaging. Like, that is a fundamentally different thing. I can watch somebody sit down and clean their house from top to bottom and it's engaging. Why? Because they're doing voiceover, talking about their day, about things it is that they find hard, about this new product it is that they've... I've seen somebody sit down and fold laundry and I was thoroughly engaged the whole way through while they show me all of the different freaking versions of dryer sheets it is that they have. You know what I mean? Like, I love watching people do mundane shit, and there is definitely an audience of people who would be interested in watching people do mundane shit. The problem is that when you're doing mundane shit, you do absolutely nothing to make that content engaging to anybody. Why do people want to watch Deaf Noodles? And the thing is that he doesn't get it. He doesn't get why people want to watch Deaf Noodles. And it's quite wild to me that somebody can become so hugely successful on a platform that is notoriously hard to even get out of the 1000k hellhole. He has literally been able to make a career that so many people would dream of by doing what? By hitting onto a niche and by making that content engaging. What was engaging about Irrelevant News? What made it different than everything else that was out there at the time? Irrelevant News was engaging because of its fast-paced nature, because of how quickly we were getting this information in digestible form. With the stupid dad jokes, even the stupid dad jokes that were clearly pre-written, that were clearly scripted, worked. And we knew what we were expecting. We knew that if we were watching Deaf Noodles, expect terrible dad jokes, but we were all in on it. We're all in on this with you. The problem is that he has found himself in this space that I think that a lot of commentators find themselves in, is when we speak so much about the commentary of the world and things that's going on with other people that we actually forget to create that connection between ourselves and the audience. That's why I feel like it's important that, to a degree, we need to create some kind of parasocial relationship. Not in the sense of that you guys need to be all up in my business, but you guys know so much about me. You know about my fertility issues in the past, and we all had this like really happy moment when I got pregnant, not one time but twice. You know what I mean? Just like awesome source shit. You guys have been with me from when my house looked like a crack den to the way that my house looks now, you know, in the decoration process and all that kind of stuff. You guys have been with me before I was married, after I was married. You guys have been with me on, you know, my self-discovery journey as a young person growing up into an adult woman. Do you get what I mean? You guys know so much about me, so much, probably too much, but I still keep sharing little pieces of myself throughout the conversations it is that we have. And the problem is that some content creators, especially commentators, they don't do that, right? They will just simply sit down, tell you about the drama and keep going. And don't get me wrong, that's fine. But if you want to maintain that relationship with your audience that may last, I don't know, even a fucking lifetime, then you need to be able to disperse yourself throughout that. The problem is that he was never really dispersing himself. He always said that it was a character, that he was playing a role, the cat in the Minecraft house, that he needed to kill the character. But the moment he killed the character is the moment that his channel began to die. Because then you had to bring us into touch with somebody that we didn't know. We weren't accustomed to him. And then it turns out that we didn't really like that guy. He was egotistical. He was condescending. He was rude. He told us to go kill ourselves and put our mouths at the end of a friggin' shotgun. And whenever we gave him any kind of critique, instead of being nice about it, he was just a dick. The wildest thing about Deaf Noodles' downfall is that nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted this for him. At every turn, everybody was being advisory. Nobody wanted this for him, but it still happened because he was in his own way. So it's so frustrating now to see him just lolcowify himself to a point of like no return, because not only now are we at this place where people don't like you, now you don't respect yourself and people don't respect you. And don't get me wrong, respect can be built, But trust, once it's broken, is horrendous to get back. But after seeing all of that, it was extremely abundantly clear to me that being a creator, being a content creator, gave Def Noodles an easy life. He had the privilege of access to millions of people on a day-to-day basis. And not being able to engage with that impact was killing him. He was privileged that this job gave him the financial ability to be able to open up his very own comedy club. He was privileged to have one of the top ranking news and drama shows on YouTube. He was privileged to have people work for him who were on payroll. He was privileged to buy himself a new car, a Tesla for himself or his girlfriend or whoever that Tesla is that he gets detailed every week. That's a privilege. God, I don't have a Tesla. I mean, I'd love one. Please. Don't worry, me and my Nissan Juke are fine. He was privileged enough to pursue a career that literally thousands upon thousands of people would dream of. And yes, he blew it, but he feels entitled to that privilege without actually putting any of the work in. But Def Noodles is just another example of what it's like when somebody breaks character. He not only broke character, but he broke himself. Not much unlike the next person. So, what's my conclusion? Now, we all know who Nikocado Avocado is. We all know about his presence on social media. He's the ex-vegan who turned into a huge mukbanger who ended up stopping his veganism and made an immense amount of money from his fast food mukbangs and immeasurable amount of food. It is quite clear to literally anybody with eyes on social media that Nikocado Avocado put being known, fame, virality, money over his own mental health, his own physical well-being, and over his own enjoyment of his actual real life. Well, a couple of days ago, Nikocado Avocado broke character. He spoke to the audience in a matter-of-fact and frank way about how he has made the worst decision in the world, and that by giving up so much of himself after all of these years, really did he have anything to show for it? Take a look.
I'm just so over this, you know? Like, if I just delete all my social media, who's gonna even care? No one. I'm just gonna move on. It's like, what's the point of all this? Didn't make as much money as I thought I would. Went into debt. Lost everything in cryptocurrency. I could literally work as a server at a restaurant and make equal amount of money. It's like, was this even worth it? Probably not. And I used to make really good, back before you know what, in 2020, I'd say 2019 was the best year for me. But ever since you know what hit, advertisers got picky, my channel was on the naughty list. I said, I don't even care because this is how I get views. If I'm nice, I get no views and I don't get paid. So I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna do as much as I can. You know, I fought with Orland and it's like, it wasn't even worth it. I don't like this anymore. I don't like the people that watch me. I love to eat, but you know, no one cares about what I like. It's just, how can we make fun of him? How can we call him, you know, the worst YouTuber? People call me the worst YouTuber. I don't mess with anybody, first of all. And I try to mind my business. I try not to give people attention that are looking to fight. I mean, people make videos about me every day, this and this and this and that. I don't engage with people. I say, you know what, have your opinion. I don't owe you anything. I'm not gonna give you that satisfaction of me acknowledging you. I don't acknowledge anybody. I stay in my lane, I eat food, and yet I'm the worst YouTuber. This is what these videos say. I'm the worst, really? And there's people on this platform that have really screwed people over. But I'm the worst. I don't even talk to anybody. I have my circle of good friends. You know, I formed really good lasting relationships on this platform, but yet I'm the worst. Anyways, this is just what I'm genuinely feeling. And hopefully this food cheers me up so I can identify as happy. Yeah. And you know what? Every once in a while I'll see a comment like, oh, I miss when you posted every day. Like, wow, thank you. You're like one of 10 people. It's really sad, you know, and I thought I was doing something. I just thought I was doing something, you know? Anyways, I will see you when I will turn this back on when the food's here.
That video was really sad for me. I've seen Nikocado Avocado break character on numerous different occasions, but this is the first time that I really my heart hurt for him. Now, we all know that Nikocado Avocado is on this journey to try and lose his weight, and you know, he's taken a back seat from creating content, doing these mukbangs on such a frequent basis, and I think he's lost over 100 pounds now, so he's doing extremely well. But I think this time away and him probably having some time to experience real life has made him retrospective on the decisions he's made and if it's really ever been worth it. Because sometimes content creation can be all consuming. Everything that is in your life becomes content. Even for me, every single video it is that I choose to watch on the internet is potential content, is potential work. So as content creators, we view the entire world through the lens of what can make us money, because content is everywhere. For vloggers, it could be that their real life is content. They need to record themselves waking up, they need to record themselves making their bed, they need to record themselves putting their clothes on. They need to record these amazing moments in their life instead of being actually physically present in them and experiencing that joy themselves. Because sharing it with you is more important. Even as far as living in the moment, every essence of our lives are captured. Our wins, our fails, our highs, our lows, and everything that makes us distinctly human. YouTube's slogan for the past, 16, 20 goddamn years has always been broadcast yourself. And every single time that a person puts themselves in front of the camera to speak to an audience of 2 or of 20 million, they are doing exactly that. But there comes a point where we all just have to start valuing our real lives. But the temperamental climate of content creation means that in order to stay on top, you need to stay relevant. But the point is that eventually all of us become irrelevant. But it's about whether we decide to leave the party early and get a good night's sleep, or whether we stay in the club until the lights come on. But when the lights come on in that club, we really need to look around and ask ourselves, who is actually there? Is it our friends? Is it our family? Is it our loved ones? Is it our pets? Or is it just the 5 subscribers who've been effing with you for the longest time? But I think the years of people having a lot of financial leverage when it comes to YouTube is slowly dwindling down, because the market is becoming oversaturated. I mean, the influencer market literally tripled in COVID. Everyone and their sister is now an influencer, meaning that brands are paying less, sponsorships are less, and nobody is nearly making half as much money as they used to. I asked some of my influencer friends what was the best financial year for them. Every single one of us said 2019. And this is creating now a new generation of influencers, what I like to call the working class influencers. People like me who make probably the same amount as you. If we take out sponsorships do give me a nice little bump. It's like a little pay rise. But I make normal money. I don't make any more than the average person. I could go back to work and make the exact same amount. And for some of us, it really might not be much. But the point is that it can be done. The reason that some people who ended up leaving the party early, like Matt Pat and Jenna Marbles, still hold a huge amount of relevancy is because we get to experience the nostalgia of the good days, of the joy that they brought to us. You can either enjoy your life off the money that you made, like Gabby Hanna, you can just live the life you got. If this job was to end tomorrow, I would leave with absolutely no regrets. I would enter into the real world and get a real job in the real workforce. But I would go back to regular life knowing that I had made my mark, that my footprint is in the dirt. But I am damn sure gonna try my best to leave the party early, to accept my fate before it becomes an unchanging reality, to take that Uber job, and to finally stop broadcasting myself. And instead of wondering what life will be like after YouTube, I will eventually start to live after YouTube. Anyway, that is about it from me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. I have definitely enjoyed taking this journey with you. For me, it was very important for me to like confront this very real fear of mine, which is, dude, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just make videos on the internet. What the hell am I gonna do in a couple of years' time? Like, what is my retirement gonna look like? And seeing other individuals like, you know, your Matt Pats and stuff like that leave the internet but have like a fuck ton of bank to support themselves makes me a little bit worried about my very questionable future. But also I'm in a place where I'm just like, I love this. I love making content. I love talking about things. I love, you know, sharing my perspective online. And I even take that with the bad, which is, you know, people being dicks to me online every day. I even do it with that in mind, and I still enjoy this. I still choose this over anything else it is that I would do in the real world. But if it came down to it, girl, I'd go back. Shit, I was an ambulance dispatcher. I'll dispatch again, bitch. I'll dispatch again. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. I just want to say a massive thank you to my team who have helped me with today's video, as well as my members, my Patreons, and all of that good stuff. I really do thank you so much for effing with me. If you guys aren't aware, I do stream on Twitch. I stream 2 nights a week. I'll be streaming tonight. Well, I mean, you won't see it because this video will go out tomorrow. But anyway, I'll be streaming tonight. But if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, my Twitch information is down below. I'm trying to link it to another channel, but anyway, we'll talk about that another day. I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever the hell it is that you are doing. And if there is any message that I can leave you with today, it is close that laptop, go outside, and touch the fucking grass. And until next time, you beautiful, amazing, badass bitches. It's been Paige. Bye.